Hey everybody, this is Matt Besser, one of the Ohio employment attorneys at Bolek Besser Glesius, working remotely from home. One of the things we're getting asked about most often during the coronavirus pandemic is workplace safety. What does my employer have to do to keep me safe from the coronavirus at work? Today I want to talk a little bit about that. As a general rule, both Ohio and federal law require employers to take reasonable steps to provide a safe workplace. When dealing with the pandemic, that means different things in different workplaces. What employers will have to do for employees with a relatively low risk of exposure will look different from what they have to do for high-risk employees. These high-risk jobs are probably pretty obvious by now, but a couple identified by the Department of Labor include healthcare workers, airline employees, and those who work in waste disposal, just to name a few. A couple workplace protections that employers might need to give employees are things like physical barriers, for instance, plexiglass partitions, or personal protective equipment. To the extent it's possible, letting employees use technology to minimize their risk of exposure is another possible workplace precaution. But again, what's appropriate for your workplace will depend on the risks of exposure there. The one workplace protection on everyone's mind right now is face masks. Does my employer have to give me an N95 or other face mask? For healthcare workers providing direct patient care, the answer is yes. For others, it's going to depend. Federal law requires employers to give employees face masks when it's necessary to protect the health of the employee. Whether it's necessary in your workplace depends on the risks of exposure there, and that could change as the pandemic spreads. If your employer isn't providing a safe workplace, there are a couple things that you can do. If talking to your boss fails, you can file a complaint with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Now, I realize many employees will be afraid to do that for fear of retaliation. And we can never promise that an employer won't break the law. But federal law does protect employees from retaliation for making good faith workplace safety complaints to OSHA. There's another option. I know we're all supposed to be social distancing, but you can think about safety in numbers. Section 7 of the National Labor Relations Act protects employees who band together to seek safer working conditions. So that could be another potential source of protection for employees who complain as a group. One other option to consider is refusing to work or refusing to perform certain tasks. OSHA does permit this, but only in very limited circumstances, where the employee has a reasonable fear of imminent death or serious physical injury. It's an extremely high standard. Without specific facts showing that exposure in your particular workplace is likely, it's going to be tough to meet. So this is really an option of last resort, and you should probably talk to an employment lawyer before taking that drastic step. If you think your employer has violated your right to be safe in the workplace during the pandemic, call the Ohio employment lawyers at Bolek Besser Glesius for a free consultation at 216-464-3004 or visit our website at bbgohio.com. Thanks everyone, and stay safe.